You do. Yeah.
The fears of listening to your own voice, not from, you know how you hear your voice from your throat. You're like, oh, I sound deeper than usual, but then you're like, oh, it's pretty light up there.
Yeah, that's true, man.
It's pretty light. I mean, you know what they say about putting a microphone in front of a Filipino, they start singing. I'm not one of those.
So yeah, we're not gaming today.
That's
but
good. I was watching that video again.
Yeah.
And it was just totally distracting. I was like, how do I answer? Oh no, press this button. Kind of thing. I wasn't really focusing on the questions. So.
I know. It makes it a little difficult when you want to game and like podcast at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But how's your Christmas been, man? Or how's your New Year and everything been?
So there's like a little backstory to this.
Yeah.
My family, the majority of them are in the medical nursing field.
Yeah.
So they have really not a set schedule to meet up.
Oh, okay.
So for Christmas, we just do the usual, just eat dinner. It's just a regular day to us.
Yeah.
But once New Year's comes, that's when everybody's there. My intermediate family, my cousins, grandma, grandpa, well, used to.
So everybody
shows up into one house, and then we just do our Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's thing there, and it's a whole lot of fun. So,
did you get any time off from work? I know that. I mean, I've been off for a good little bit.
Lucky you. Yeah. Actually, they didn't close down our facility for the 2 weeks. We only took the Tuesday and Wednesday off.
Yeah.
But I requested the Mondays before those two, so I had like a 5-day weekend and then 2-day workday.
Oh, nice.
So that was nice, but you know how it is with photography in that kind of business kind of sense, or like doing your hobbies.
Yeah.
You want to take a break because you have no more weekends, right? Like, oh man, there's no weekends left for me, for myself. I have to do the photography biz.
Yeah. And
when you get to that point, you're like, man, I want to do something. So it's like a double-edged sword to have that amount of vacation time.
It was the same for me. I mean, all this time off, I thought to myself, okay, I'll rest or I'll relax or do something other than hobbies or work.
Mm-hmm.
And no, that time was filled up with hobbies and work.
Yeah, dude, it's a double-edged sword. You're like, you're bored of your mind. Like, what do? I want to practice this because I finally read up on something.
Yeah.
And
did you have any jobs booked during your break or during this holiday season?
I think the end of my season was like the 21st, but no, I didn't. I wanted it to. I reached out to a couple people that wanted to do something, but they were kind of out or doing their own thing already.
Yeah.
They have something scheduled. I'm like, oh, okay.
That was really tough for me. I figured, I've got all this time. I want to get some people to come over to talk or do something.
Right.
And it's like, no, it's Christmas. It's New Year's. Like, people are out of town. People are busy. No one's here. So I just had to put it on the shelf and figure January, or at least maybe mid-January, I'll start throwing out some DMs and see who's available to do something.
Casting those lines. Yeah. I get you. Yeah, it is what it is in that business.
How's your photography season going for this year? Have you booked out for the year so far? Or, I mean, not so much photography, but like videography and stuff like that.
My boss.
Yeah.
My boss. No, he's actually, my boss. MC Photography 1, Instagram. Anyway, he's already sent me a list of dates.
Yeah.
He wants to know if I'm able to support those.
Oh, right on.
Because I'm planning to travel out more this year. I didn't do much 2019 as far as traveling goes. So yeah, we have a few, but they're not confirmed or solid yet. So.
Oh, okay.
But he gave me a big list. I'm like, oh, dang, okay. It's the beginning of the year. I guess we'll start it off like that. What about you?
Well, for me, I didn't do much in, in
Oh,
terms
okay.
of photography.
Uh-huh.
I didn't really reach out and try to hustle any work for this year. I figured, well, last year was actually supposed to be the year like I stopped, and
Oh,
I had a couple people reach out during last year just through word of mouth and through finding me on via Google or something like that. And they were like, "Hey, can you capture these images?" And it's like, "Sure, I'll go ahead and do that for you." But for the most part, I figured I would stop capturing photos and just lean more into this podcasting thing. And I have one wedding that hopefully you'll be coming out to,
oh yeah, for sure.
and that's it. That's all I've got on the books for now.
Hmm.
And again, like I'm not reaching out to anybody. It's all if it's organic and someone comes up and says that they're looking for somebody, then sure, I'll shoot that bid and see what happens. But for the most part, I intend on just focusing mainly on this podcast and what I can do with this because time is really limited. As these kids are getting bigger, it's just I don't have time to leave the house as much as I used to before.
I see that. Yeah, yeah, that's understandable.
But with
Yeah.
your traveling, I mean, are you gonna? I saw that you went to Utah. You didn't really get many shots out there though, because that was for work. But
Mhm.
do you have any like bucket list places that you intend on going to this year?
This year, I'm going back to Japan for the third time.
Dude, that's dope.
Yeah, this time for the cherry blossoms because I didn't really get to for the past two times,
Okay.
and visiting other places. Yeah, that's coming up close. I still haven't bought my tickets. Life as a procrastinator.
Yeah.
And then in August, it was supposed to be a secret, but I guess I'll just go. My brother and I are gonna go to Finland.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's late August, I think. Late August. We're gonna go up there and try to find the Northern Lights. So
Nice.
that's gonna be a good adventure. Yeah, those are the two major planned.
Two major trips.
Yeah.
Anything, and then other than that, just do you think you'll head out and just do local spots? Because I kind of thought about that too, like maybe just carrying the camera with me and when the time changes, at least head out to Pismo, catch a sunset, or head out to just somewhere and do like get back to my roots and do landscape photography and maybe street photography or something like that.
Yeah. I definitely do street photography. The candid pictures you get, I feel like tell a better story.
Yeah.
I just got into the portrait light game because I was like, oh, that looks interesting. I want to try that. And then it just got addicting. And then, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Speaking of which, like you said, maybe during the summer where the nights are a little bit warmer,
Yeah, definitely.
out in the fields and desert, I was thinking about doing light painting kind of
Really?
thing. Yeah, with additional to the learning how to do astrophotography.
Okay.
So I'm trying to branch out and just learn every different kind of type of photography and then mesh it up and try to find
Well,
my
because
own
you
style.
started with street photography, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that just leaned into videography, which was travel videography. Then that transitioned to wedding video and event videography.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like you went from like just doing the candid thing to like boom, now you're into professional stuff. And I think that for myself, I kind of went through all those mediums that you're currently talking about. So because I couldn't get any jobs right out the gate, I did the street photography because that built my portrait portfolio. And then I had to learn how to photograph in low light. So I just did night photography because that's kind of, you can use that in the same sense. And then, so light painting, like catching taillights of cars kind of trailing.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the only light painting I could do. And then doing the astrophotography too. But then it's so crazy how big the actual medium can be. Because with astrophotography, for instance, I don't know if you know, but they have like a device that you can put on your tripod that will track a star.
Oh.
So throughout the night, if you need to have a long exposure, longer than say, because some cameras by default, a long exposure is like 30 seconds or 60 seconds, and that's it. That's a minute is as long as you can go. But for some people who want to do much longer exposures, that of course your more professional cameras can go longer. But the stars tend to drift because, well, the Earth is rotating and everything's moving.
Right.
So there's like a device you can put on your tripod and it'll just lock on to a star or to the moon or something that you're trying to capture, and it'll rotate with it. So it helps for like astral time lapses. It helps for like, those photos that you see of like the North Star that's, dead nuts in the center, and then all the other stars are kind of rotating around it, for that stuff.
That's crazy.
Tracking the moon. I mean, it'll do all those things, and it's just crazy because there's even apparatuses that you can twist onto where your lens would go, and then that just kind of shoots right into a telescope, and now you can use a telescope with your DSLR.
So you can like zoom in and see the craters on the moon or something.
Exactly.
Oh man, that's legit.
So there's so much like that you can.
Don't get me, because I have this. You know what gas is, right?
Yeah.
Gear acquisition syndrome.
Exactly.
For the people that don't know, I'm not saying just because I'm lactose. I'm not saying. Damn.
Yeah, putting that out there too.
FYI, I'm single. I'm don't tell me about this, because then I'll be like, oh, I want to try that. Buy it, and like I fail at it. I'm like, I'm gonna return it.
Yeah, like I fell into that whole when I was living down in SoCal. There was a camera shop. I can't remember the name offhand, but they sold telescopes, camera gear, videography gear, like all that stuff. But it was a real small shop, so they had like kind of oddball things that probably just sat on the shelf for a real long time. They had the bags with the old price tag and like a layer of dust on it because no one's bought it yet. And I'd be like, well, what's this? And it's like, oh, if you want to connect your camera to a telescope, this is what that is. And I was like, that's interesting. I don't want to buy a telescope, but it's a really great price, at $12.
Oh, wow. Nice. No, I feel like we need something like that, right? Like a shop. I know Sammy's camera and SB kind of closed. I was like, oh man,
that one's cool. There used to be one up in Slow.
Oh, okay.
And I vaguely remember it like when I was a kid. I forget what it was called, but
something gear. I think a friend of mine, Keel, told me about that.
Yeah, there used to be a camera shop up there, and it's a bummer that it's gone. There's a lot of creatives in the area, but especially with, you're talking about gear acquisition, I can see how it's hard for a camera shop to carry everything you want. You go to Best Buy, they've got your base level DSLR. They've got maybe your mid prosumer DSLR, and then that's it. If you want like a D5, or if you want like a full frame Nikon or something like that, you have to order it online. You can't see it, touch it, feel it, use it, and get that vibe like you can at Sammy's. Sammy's, they'll pop open the box. It's like, take a look at it, see if it's what you like. We have a couple lenses, try something out, throw it on your SD card and see if you like the feel.
Oh, that's so legit.
But you can't do that. And unfortunately, when you buy a camera that is that expensive, then you got to pay that restocking fee if it's not what you want. So
yeah. Oh, you waste a lot of money. You just tell I mean, I'm responsible with my money.
Yeah. I was told like if you don't want your kids to get involved in like just negative stuff, like either get them involved in sports or introduce them to photography, because they'll never have enough money to spend it on anything else. There's always something more expensive. I mean, they even got like those expensive lenses that they use for wildlife photography that are like $50,000.
Right. Yeah.
It's like who is buying that? That
National Geographic people.
Yeah, I guess they can see the expense.
Yeah, but still, those photos come out great. It's just that, dang, I've seen. Well, I think Netflix or YouTube, I don't know. They documented a wildlife photographer.
Yeah,
that was like on the side of the car and then just sniping those pictures. They're very far away, but.
Well, I wouldn't want to get close to a lion, so I would imagine, okay, well, $50,000 will keep me at a safe distance. I'll just go ahead and do that.
Am I really worth $50,000?
Dude, have you seen the? Because talking about videography, I remember I was looking into like, I talked to you about it, like creating a documentary, and getting out there and doing something. Like it would have been great. Not throw you under the bus if you videoed a documentary and I captured the audio. I'm still waiting for that collab to happen. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. I was looking at Netflix and like what's required to put a film on Netflix. Like say you made a documentary, dude, there's like certain camera requirements. There's like 4 mainline cameras and that's like the cost of entry just to be eligible. Like you gotta have like the red or there's
RE,
the REI or the RE. And then there's 2 others, like I think a Panasonic and then maybe a Canon, but you got to be able to shoot 4K. That's what they want. They don't want like somebody who's coming through with like a 1080p or even a 4K with their prosumer camera.
That's surprising that you said, because I saw the requirements as well too. I was like, I kind of want to do a documentary. Because I'm back fiddling with anamorphic footage.
Oh, dude, that's nice.
Yeah, anamorphic footage on my GH5. So I was like, I was looking at the camera, and the GH5 and the GH5S are legit cameras.
Are they really?
Yeah, for Netflix. So I'm like, I got to do one. But this was like in the beginning of last year. I was like, I got to do one.
Yeah.
And then, but the whole photography thing got
it
priority.
took precedence. Yeah.
Yeah. But now that you think about it, it's
there you go, man.
Year. I will need to find a subject. No, I'm just for documentary.
How do you edit anamorphic footage? Because that stretches the image, doesn't it? And then you have to squish it back.
It's the opposite. So it records squished. Like,
okay.
Squished, and then use your editing to stretch it back out. So that's how you get the legit widescreen view.
Yeah.
Instead of just capturing it and put those black bars.
Okay.
It takes us
because it does something with the bokeh as well, doesn't it? Like with light, it stretches it out.
It stretches. You know how the bokeh are mostly spherical?
Yeah.
This one, they're like more stretched, like vertically stretched. Also, the flares, depending on the lens, you get these blue flares. It kind of reminds me of that ET movie. ET. Oh, I'm showing my age. ET phone home right now.
Are you talking about wasn't it Star Trek? Wasn't that J.J. Abrams using that like lens flare that was like super stretched out? Yeah.
Yes. So they have some have that blue streak, even though the light source is like white. Some have like the same color, but it's just like streaked out.
Okay.
So I want to do that. Like,
I'm curious because I feel like there's a lot of stories here in this area that can be told. I'm not exactly sure what they are. I just feel like there's a lot because it's an old town and it's still small. I mean, it hasn't grown that big. And I don't know. It would be interesting to see what could come of it.
I want to do one. At least because there is a few festivals that kind of opened up to the public of filmmaking, short films, documentary. I wanted to enter one beginning of last year.
Yeah.
That never got.
Are they here? Like, do we have film festivals here?
I think they have one in Slow. A friend of mine showed me a link to it. Slow in Santa Barbara.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think the hardest part is trying to find people willing to be in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Unlike me.
Because that's something that I didn't know until I like started like dipping my toe into like the creative community out here and really reaching out to people who do things like podcasting and photography and videography and just the whole list of creative just space and finding out that there's actually this group that does live reads down in Santa Maria where they'll take a movie script and they'll just read it live, like reenact it live. I've never been to one. I would like to go to one, but I imagine that's really cool. I never thought that we had anything like that out here. Or I think there's photography competitions out here too, where you can submit a photo and see if you win, and maybe it gets in the Sun or the Times paper or something like that.
That's pretty cool.
But
just to get your work out there, huh?
yeah, but for videography, I didn't really know there was anything. And other than that, I mean, you'd probably just have to throw whatever it is you're doing up on YouTube and stuff.
And try to see if the fish bite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fine.
How's the gym been going though? Did you go during your break?
I did. I did. So background contacts. I had a friend. He approached me. He and I go to the gym right after work.
Yeah.
This is way before the daylights. We had longer days and stuff.
Yeah.
So as soon as the days were shorter, and when we get out of work, it would be dark.
Yeah.
He goes up to me. Hey, we should just he told me that he's been going to the gym at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And he convinced me with, you get more time after work to do.
Wait, this friend isn't me, is it? Because I remember I told you the same thing.
It was like half you. I mean, like it was like, you're right. So I thought about it. The other friend kind of put the nail on the counter. I'm like, damn, these two are telling me something.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was you and this other coworker I had.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I go to the gym at 4 a.m. now. It's empty, which I like.
I like that too.
There's nobody like hogging the machines. Well, like, you know how they put a set of dumbbells on one machine or on one
like a bench. Yeah.
And then they go do another thing over there.
Oh yeah.
I've seen that. I was like, oh dude, just let one open. None of that. No distractions. Distractions.
Well, you also don't get the resolutioners. They're not coming in that early.
No, they're not. Which I wonder if. No, you don't go. I was gonna ask.
Yeah, I don't go after work.
Yeah.
That would be a madhouse. Like when I used to go after work, it would be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then as soon as like maybe 4:30ish hits, like everybody's in there. And it's like, get your squats done, get your bench done, because if you don't and you wait until everyone gets there, you're not going to have time. Yeah. And they're coming in droves too. It's like you got the gym bros that are coming in with their partners. You got the gym groups that are coming in like 3-4 deep, and they're all on a rotation on the same machine. And it's like, dude, you're never going to get in.
Yep.
And that's why I switched it up. Not only because having children, it's more optimum for me to do it and to go at 4 a.m., but I've just gotten used to it. It's crazy to think like for 2 years now, I've been just doing the AM sessions, and I don't think I don't even think anything of it.
It becomes your routine. That's like to your original question, if I did go to the gym during the break, it became so routine, even though the gym opens up like a little later than usual
because the holiday schedule. I think a couple of days they open at 7.
I still go because it's like I can't start my day off without knowing. That it just becomes it becomes my breakfast. Like you got to eat something. Yeah.
Or you can't eat your breakfast until you get your workout in. Because I have my routine. It's like like today, for example, I have my morning coffee, and it's like it feels weird because I usually go to the gym, then I'll have my coffee after.
Oh, okay. So you don't use the coffee to help you out, or the caffeine kind of help you out?
I was thinking about it, but then I think coffee is somewhat of like a diuretic. So you don't want to be at the gym and feel like, oh, damn, I got to go.
Right.
But for me, I'll be getting back on that pre-workout. So I sent out a link on IG.
That's right.
I got no feedback from you. So, I mean, unless you got a pre-workout suggestion right now.
I did say something. I did say something, but I didn't recommend it. I'm in the same boat as you. So if you get an answer, let me know.
Exactly.
It was that kind of thing.
I was recommended the pre-workout Hide.
Oh.
And I've actually heard from other people that one is a hardcore stimulant. Like if you're sensitive to stimulants like I am, that one will get you on. I'm always wary of like getting those fire ant feelings, the tingling all over your face. It was Optimum Nutrition's pre-workout.
Okay.
I bought a tub. It's like $30. I took a scoop. It was my deadlift day, and it was $30 wasted because I couldn't even finish my workout. I was in there. I felt like I had these fire ants all over my body. And ones that have worked for me is, well, Bang energy drinks. Those are delicious. But I feel like the taste to them is now fading for me.
Yeah. I didn't want to interrupt, but like the cake Bang. No, I'm sorry.
Cake Bang.
The cake Bang.
Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead.
And then I'm a fan of the Rainbow Unicorn. I think that one's good.
I don't think
You should try it.
Okay.
It's like a sweet tart.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm also a fan of the Cherry Blade Lime Lemonade. Super good. The Peach Mango, actually. I'm a huge fan of.
Filipino.
Yeah, there you go. For the Pinoy brothers out there,
Yeah.
Peach Mango. Yeah.
Definitely first try.
Taste of the island life. And then there's also the Pina Colada whenever I'm feeling festive.
Oh, okay.
That's usually like a Friday bang right there. It's like, hey, it's Friday, it's payday.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get this Pina Colada going. And almost everything except for the raspberry, the sour apple, and cotton candy. Those three, like, I don't mess with those. Those are like super like syrupy to me and too sweet.
Those are the flavors I try to stay away from that are sweet. And then when you go, like, you guzzle some down and it's like you feel like it's gonna be syrupy, like kind of thing. I was like, oh,
exactly.
That's what I'm afraid of when trying out those new flavors. But I still try them. It's just
Purple Haze is a good one.
Birthday cake.
Yeah, I don't know about.
I expect that one.
Did you know what is also good? The Georgia sweet iced tea.
The teas are good.
Yeah,
they're much milder, but they're good.
Yeah, like I don't feel the carbonation as much in those.
Yeah.
I almost feel like I have to shake it before I drink it. Like I feel like there's gonna be like a pulping or something, something like that.
But yeah.
But
yeah,
those are really good. But it was actually C4 was the pre-workout like I had always been with. It also helped that they sold C4 at Costco. So you would get like 2 tubs for the price of one and a half. Like you'd get half off a tub almost. But it had to be the fruit punch flavor. Then they switched over and they started selling that like blueberry flavor. I guess I don't mess with blueberry. So as soon as they started selling that, I tried it. I felt like I was getting those fire ant feeling.
Ooh.
And it was like, nah, I can't do this. So I've been waiting. I've been waiting for them to sell fruit punch again.
Fruit punch?
And they haven't.
Oh man.
So now it's like, okay, well, are there any recommendations on anything else out there? Because I want something. And
Me too.
actually, my buddy Justin, he's a personal trainer. He told me about the one that you're actually taking, the C4 Professional or
Ultimate. Oh yeah,
Ultimate.
Yeah.
He told me try that one, and so it's already C4. I already know how it goes, and however this Ultimate, whatever kick that's supposed to give. So I'm probably gonna give that a shot. We're heading to, I don't know if they sell it at Walmart, but we're heading to AG later. I don't want to go to GNC, and if I can't find it locally, I'll just order it online.
I can like give you a scoop just to before.
You keep it in your car? No.
I wish. That's a good idea. You're like, I got to do a presentation. I got to guzzle that.
You're going to keep it in a little white baggie and try to give it to me at the gym?
You're like, hey, here you go. Just out in the public too, out on the floor.
Did you know there's law enforcement that works out that early in the morning too? I had no idea, but there's a sheriff. He works out that early in the morning. And it's pretty interesting, the folks that come through at the gym that you meet. I mean, I imagine like, who are these individuals that are here this early? And what do you do for work that you can be here this early?
Right.
I think there's a couple who work in the medical industry, so they're probably just getting off work because I've seen them like in their scrubs or they're going to work because I'll see them like when they're leaving, they're in their scrubs.
Yeah.
And then, well, us in the manufacturing industry, you more white collar, me more blue collar. Not that there's a difference.
Yeah, there's
it's hard work, but
yeah.
I mean, us in that industry, and yeah, it's just it's pretty interesting to me to see the different folks that are coming through there.
In the morning, like to add on to that, it's like usually the same people too.
That's what I like.
it's like, oh yeah, that guy's familiar. That fool's not gonna stare at my bad form.
Yeah.
He's good. He's good. Oh, you need me to help you? I'm sorry, I'm not that strong. That kind of thing.
I know.
Yeah, it's gym life. You got to do it.
Yeah.
Start doing it.
I know.
But not in my time though.
Yeah, not at 4 a.m. Yeah. If you're gonna come to the gym, come during the peak hours.
Yeah, do it. You will have a lot of room to do stuff.
Have you done any of the classes at the gym? I had done spin and I did try the body pump. This was like early on, like when I first started working out. It was like, let me diversify. Let me take advantage of all the what you would consider maybe perks of having a gym membership. So I did try yoga. I did try spin. I did try body pump. Did not try Zumba. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're a fan of Zumba, I'm not throwing shade at you, but it's just not me.
Oh, okay. Does it look like? I
mean, you look like a zoomer. So.
A zoomer.
Yeah.
Oh well. I know that I do dance a little, but no, not the Zumba. I was gonna ask you about the spin class, how that goes, because I see it every like a big following always entering that room. I was like, maybe I should like step up my cardio this year because I try to avoid it. I'm always on the stairs for about half an hour. I try to.
Yeah, spin is pretty cool to diversify things, but you have to challenge yourself because they will tell you, all right, ramp it up, or they'll give you cues to turn that knob to make it more difficult. But it's how difficult do you want to make it for yourself? Because they're not controlling everybody's bikes.
Right.
So when they say ramp it up, you might be lazy and not ramp it up, or you might actually tone it. Yeah, you might pretend to. So really it's like how I guess diligent or how much do you put on yourself to try to push yourself. And maybe that comes with time. But I know that for myself, like I would ramp it up, like I would turn that knob and it's like, oh yeah, I do have to stand up in order to pedal this bike. So I don't know, you kind of get the feel, and sometimes the instructor, they'll look out to everybody and they'll see the people who it's like, that looks too easy. Come on, let's get it going. You should feel like you're climbing a hill. This should feel difficult and stuff. And then usually they'll end it with like a nice little stretch and a cool down so you're not like just jumping off the bike. But they actually opened, I don't know if you probably heard of Soul Cycle.
Soul Cycle.
It's like a culture type thing where it's like, oh, I go to Soul Cycle, and it's like
CrossFit.
This kind of. I think that's kind of the thing that they were going for. So it's a spin class, and they have lockers, and you change out there, and then they get the music and they get everything going, and they open something like that in AG where the Five Guys and Chipotle is. It's not Soul Cycle, but it is something similar to it. And I was curious about checking that out. I imagine you got to pay a premium just to go. And I don't know if you can just hop in and do it or if it's like members only.
Oh, okay.
But they usually have like maybe what you would consider better bikes or something like that. And then
better routine, maybe.
Possibly.
I mean, I'm not going to judge. Like,
I think they try to sell you on the culture, kind of like Peloton.
Okay.
I'm sure you've heard of Peloton.
No clue.
Are you serious?
What's that?
Wow.
It's a good topic to start. Educate me, sir.
All right. So talking about Peloton and the culture of that. Well, Peloton, they sell like bikes. They now sell a treadmill and they're super expensive, but they have that TV on it. I'm really surprised you haven't seen the memes. But yeah, Peloton, they have a bike and then you can check out their spin classes online and join in. So one of the perks of like, say, this isn't a sponsor for Peloton or anything like that, but just to put that out there, but you can pay for their membership and then you have like an online avatar or something like that. You have an online profile where as you're going through the spin class, you'll see your time compared to other people in the class around the world. And then if you live in New York, then you can actually physically go to the Peloton studio and work out there with them. But it's kind of like bringing the studio to your home.
Okay.
So spin class, but at your leisure. And now you don't have to have the bike. It opens up all the perks when you have the bike. Like you can have your profile and you can see where you rank amongst everybody else. And you can see it'll kind of like a Fitbit. keeps your target heart rate and it tracks your analytics. And you can just download the app on your phone if you wanted to do that, and you can join the spin classes, and use a spin bike that you may have, or use your own real road bike, but it won't track analytics for you. And then they also sell a treadmill. And now these products are like at a premium. So the cycle I think is like $3,000. Wow. And then the treadmill I want to say is like close to $5,000. It's
I'm like, what can I get? What can I get camera wise with that kind of money?
Exactly, right? Yeah. But it again, they're selling you on the culture. Okay. I remember seeing the Peloton CEO or something like that when he was first like bringing the business out there and talking about it, and people were like, "Really, you're gonna sell people on this?" And now it's shot up there. It's like a big deal. So people are doing it, and if people see results,
right,
then fine. I'm sure there's a market for people who want to work out at home. I mean, you've seen the home gym movement on Instagram.
Yeah. The gazelle. I think those are old school memes, but this just tells you like how far. Like I want to keep myself away from cardio. Like, oh, there's a cardio thing. I'm out. Like,
yeah.
Which sucks because I need to do more to lean up at least.
Well, that's what I'm going to shift into is cardio.
Yeah. Is that why the past few stories I've seen, it was all about cardio and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because
that makes sense.
The way my year ended, like 2019, I started with this powerlifting like kick. Like I was on the road to a 600-pound deadlift. I thought this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I stopped at 545.
No way.
And then I never got back on. And so I felt like I was just in limbo this whole time going to the gym. I'm lifting weights, but with no real goal. And I really lost my lungs in the process. Like losing my lungs, saying like, if I go on a hike, I feel like exhausted.
Oh, right. I see the capacity. Like you don't have that lung capacity.
Whereas before I would go on hikes and it's like, dope, let's run down now. And so that's kind of what I want to do. I want to get my lungs back by doing, I got to check the stream quality and stuff. We're like super multitasking today. It's not like last time where all we had to do was just play a game, but
I don't want to look at myself. Please don't.
I know. I kind of figure like when people come over and they like see that we're live streaming, like I maybe want to move the camera or something, or move the screen so they don't see themselves. But
yeah, you should. Like,
it's whatever. You're cool. You're fine.
Oh, there am I.
Yeah. So we're streaming with that, and then this is YouTube over here, so we can see how many people are watching, and currently 1 viewer, and then we got IG live right here on the phone.
Oh, so that's what it is. I thought that phone was recording, I guess.
No, I'm not even on the camera. This is more like an interrogation.
Dang. Okay, I did it. I was the one who did it. I did it. I stole a cookie from the cookie jar.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Like I'm definitely want to step this up for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, last time I came here, yeah, definitely.
We had your backdrop. Eventually that couch, I got to put wheels on it. Like people can't see this on the podcast or on the stream. But I have a sofa and I'm going to put wheels on it so it can move. And then I bought another XLR cable. So if I have 2 guests, I'll just use the spare microphone stand. And then 2 people like you and your homie, you can come through one time. There's a couple other like duos that I would like to have through.
Oh yeah.
Like parents and stuff like that. Other parents just come through and sit down and talk about whatever. But unfortunately my setup currently yields one camera. So I'm not on it, which is fine by me.
It's unfair.
Yeah, it's just you, and that's all the people want to see is you. So, I mean, I put it up there. Hey, we're live streaming.
I don't like taking compliments.
Isn't that crazy? Like being a creative type and always being behind the camera. Isn't it weird to be in front of it?
Yeah. That's why I am like not looking at that thing. Yeah, and being in front of the camera is just. Oh, yeah, that's me. But the better subject is at the other end.
Yeah. Even like when it comes to podcasting, like I was on somebody else's podcast.
Oh, right.
And I felt like I didn't know what to say. But when it's mine, like this is my space, like I'm comfortable here. Like it's just easy for me to.
Oh yeah, I think it's like with that connection too. I mean, you and I, like, we joke around. We have that. Yeah, we can talk whatever subject.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you feel the same way when you went to the podcast?
I mean, the first one that I did, I felt like I had to break through because I felt like you very easily can settle into just it's an interview.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes people might want to sit there and just, okay, ask me questions and I'll just answer.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I did another one with the Conversation on Tap podcast, I put a post to it yesterday. I did it with them and I felt like that rapport. Like I felt a lot more comfortable just talking.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I think that they get compartmentalized in a feeling of, I don't know what to say unless you ask me a question.
Or like, I don't want to say so that it doesn't like it projects me in a negative light. So I'm gonna say the safe words.
Yeah, the safe words.
So people that know me,
yeah, you don't want to.
I'm holding back a lot. No.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Dude, when I had my coworker here, it's so funny because he definitely likes to like throw stuff out there, and he was very tame on the podcast. Like I thought, okay, this one's gonna be explicit. This one I'm gonna have to this, that, and whatever, like cut, edit, do stuff. And he was super tame when he came by. And then as soon as I stopped hitting record, like Tourette's, he just started throwing out those F bombs and those S, this, that, whatever. And I'm like, oh man, you were really holding back, weren't you? It's like, well, I don't know who's listening. I don't know what I should say or what I shouldn't.
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Kind of thing. Yeah.
And I try to tell people, it's like, just be you. Like, you don't have to edit yourself. I mean, if the episode, like, if the episode is explicit, it's explicit. And that's fine by me. It doesn't have to, I'm not trying to force this to be any one thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good way to think. And plus, like, the people that don't get your humor or anything, those are the type of the people that you don't want to be hanging out with anyway or talking to anyway.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So when are you starting your podcast? Because I'm waiting.
Oh, that's right. Well,
you have a computer.
I do. I don't have this set up though. Like,
you just need a microphone.
Like a few.
And I told you I have one that I'll let you use. So there's really no excuse. Just win.
I still do want to do it. Like, my friend and I are in the thought process of actually doing one. Because it's nice because it leaves it's just, you can set it in the background and just listen to it. You don't have to have your full attention to it. Like, watch it and hear it at the same time. You can just listen. Yeah. Just that kind of, I was like, that's pretty cool for people like me that just puts thing and go. Yeah,
you just put that, it's like a white noise or something, like while you're editing, rather than listening to music or anything like that.
Yeah. People conversing. It's on the it's up there in the list of
things. You got a pin in it right now?
Yeah, because I feel a lot of people are doing it now. Well, on the YouTube world, a lot of people are transitioning to that from doing these funny skits.
That's one of the things that I found, like doing a YouTube search for podcasts. Like I'm trying to search like podcast setups or podcast studios just to get an idea of what other people are doing, to maybe influence or inspire what I would like to do with mine. Yeah. And for the most part, it is a lot of YouTubers who they have very successful channels prior and they're now transitioning to add podcasting in the mix. I can't imagine that workload. Like you already have a business doing this and now you're adding one more thing because they're not stopping doing the other thing. That's definitely a lot of work.
Definitely.
But yeah, podcasting, I think it's definitely a lot of fun to do, and whomever listens. It's like, it's more like again, talking about my buddy Justin, he mentioned it's more like therapeutic to speak and to get stuff out there and just to, I don't know, like decompress. Like as a parent, when I talk about how my day was with the kids and stuff like that.
How was your day with the kids? To relate it to the podcast, how was your day with the kids?
They woke up early today.
Oh wow!
And so yeah, it's one of those things. Like sometimes they'll sleep in. Like the past 2 days, they slept in till like 8, almost 9, which is like wow. I was up and they still were asleep. But today they were up early, and they're usually calling out for us. So it's like, okay, well, we know they're really up. We better get over there. And then just starting the day when you kind of feel like maybe you want to sleep in. So stuff like that. That usually happens.
But yeah. Back to the podcast question. We'll see. I feel like you have, like, I'll have questions and you're probably the person to go to.
Oh, definitely, man. I would definitely answer anything and everything that you got for whatever you need. But another thing was, what was I going to say? It was, I just lost the thought. Oh, yeah, like what your topic would be. Because I know we talked about how you would, it would be great to talk about like some of the photography stuff.
Yeah, the photography stuff. Also,
like interesting clients, and interesting situations.
I'm going to be vague because it's really my boss. MC wants to make it a hush hush until we actually decide to do it.
Oh, okay.
But it's going to be more like just interviewing other local creatives, I should say, or other local creatives.
Yeah.
Not interviewing, but just like talking to them, like
having them on.
Yeah, having an interesting conversation, just conversing like we're doing right now. It could be maybe tying into their events or video or portrait or their kind of business.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So,
and there's so many in the space too. When you think about it, like you not only just having photographers or videographers or podcasters, but even people in the industry, just like catering companies or people who work cater service.
Yeah.
People who do floral, hair, makeup. I mean, there's so many individuals that are a part of an event, a wedding, all of that you can talk to. There was a hairstylist that I had spoke with, and this podcast was like never released, but I spoke with her about doing weddings and how that goes and what even got her into wanting to do that. And it was just really interesting to hear. I mean, the career path is very much the same with anybody who wants to get involved with weddings in general.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I met somebody in Utah who's the same thing, like a wedding hairstylist, photographer kind of thing. And
that one.
We got along. That one. That one. This guy.
Yeah, we won't go into details.
Okay. Damn, I did tell you that one.
You did tell me that one. Okay, yeah. I know that one. Wink, wink.
It's nothing. It's nothing.
But yeah, you're saying?
Yeah, we got along really well, and it feels like we can, like, you find people like that, like, at all places, like, just random places, and you constantly talk, and you just never stop, and then conversation leads to other topics, which is...
Yeah, because you can definitely have them on, too.
Yeah.
And, like, what's it like doing weddings in Utah? What's it like doing weddings in other states, in other... who knows, like other countries? Like, is it different? Is there, I don't know, is the culture different with how they go about doing it? Or even some of the traditionary things, like when it comes to preparing foods for maybe different types of weddings, when it comes to doing hair. We all have like bridezilla stories. We all have the mother of the bride stories. We all have just interesting stuff like that I'm sure people would want to hear or share. I always walk on eggshells with it because it's like when you're in the industry, you don't ever want to like throw clients under the bus, or you don't ever want to.
Yeah. Unless you really. I'm not even that. I'm not gonna name nobody. That's still bad.
And that's the thing though, because like it's not like they're ever gonna hire you back. You would hope they never hire you back because that means they're getting married again.
My prices went up like tenfold.
Yeah.
I got big now. That's why.
Yeah. The one thing that you would miss out on is the references, the referrals. If someone heard what you said, and that's always, that's always something that I'm wary of. Yeah. But to tell you a story that's not going to throw anybody under the bus though, because it's just something that affected me, was that I recently did an engagement shoot and it was out on the beach. And I don't mind, like, locations are locations. It's whatever to me. But I still have beach sand in my shoes. This was weeks ago.
Oh, wow. Even like after dumping it?
Yeah, after dumping, I'm like clapping my shoes together and everything. And it's like, dude. So that's been my inconvenience with that shoot.
Oh, man.
That was pretty much it.
Roll up the pants, go barefoot.
No, right? Do you ever, like, because sometimes to get a shot, I find that I need to lay on the ground a lot to get that angle.
Oh, I haven't been in that position. Really?
You don't lay on the ground for photos? You should try it.
Well, not lay on the ground, but I have.
Oh, yeah, your screen articulates.
Not that well, but I have put, like, the camera in a low angle before.
Yeah.
Up like that, but not to a point where I need to lay down.
I do, because whenever I do the live view on the screen, because my screen articulates as well, there's a lag between the shutter and because the shutter's open in order for the screen to display the live view. I don't know if you have mirrorless.
Yeah.
So mine, the mirror has to be up in order for the sensor to see what's going on. And that way you get the live view. But whenever you hit the shutter, like, the mirror comes down and then does this weird little click clack thing. And so there's an input lag. And if I move the camera any slight bit, even with a high shutter speed, I'll get blur.
Oh, wow.
In the picture.
Oh, okay.
So I find that for myself with my camera, I do have to lay on the ground and look through the viewfinder.
3-point stabilization.
Exactly.
Stabilize that. Oh, okay.
And so I get dirty a lot sometimes out on these shoots.
It's a dirty job. Where's that guy? Not Joe Rogan.
What was that dude's name?
Oh, man, this is the dirty job guy. That's all he's known for now. Yeah. Oh, no, I have. There was this one time I had to take this group photo. It was, I better not say. I had to be in the cherry picker all the way up. I'm scared of heights.
Really?
Yeah. So
they had a cherry picker on location.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, I think I get where you're going. Okay, yeah. So
they didn't have any
safety harness,
safety
fall
harness.
protection, PPE.
Yeah, PPE. Good thing I signed that form though.
Exactly.
So I was like in the middle of it. It was windy. It was kind of shaky. I was trying to get that high angle shot. I was like, ooh, I'm not gonna make a sudden movement.
Well, there he goes.
Yeah, there he goes.
But at least we got the photo.
Right. And then they're like, oh, hey, what about you? Like, you should be in the shot too. I'm like, I'm not going to go up there and take another shot. I'm going to Photoshop myself or something. Or we can play Where's Waldo?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But other than that, no, never difficult.
Dude, the biggest group shot I did was, like, you would think it would just be a bridal party. Where it's like the mother and the father, bridegroom, groomsmen, and bridesmaids. It was the entire wedding.
Whoa. Like 200 plus people?
So I got up on a ladder that they had on location.
Oh, man.
But because this venue was, like, at an old home, it was also an old ladder. So it was one of those wooden ladders. You know, they don't make wood ladders anymore.
Yeah.
Probably for the reason that when I was up on it, it was super tall. It's probably like a 16-footer, maybe 20-foot ladder.
Damn.
And I got up on it, and the thing is, like, wobbly and creaky. And I'm, like, taking this top down, and I had my wide angle lens. And even then, it was like, you all still need to scoot in. It was a ton of people. It's almost like the equivalent of a wide angle of a crowd whenever you're at an event, like a band's playing or something like that. The audience, it felt like an audience that I was capturing.
Oh, dang.
It was a ton of people. I mean, it was a cool photo, but it was a ton of people.
I don't want to throw shade or anything, but, like, what bending the point if you can't even see your face in there?
Exactly. You'd have to zoom in or something like that. Kind of like like the senior class portrait or something like that when you're up on the stands.
Yeah. Oh man, I couldn't imagine. Dang, at a house too. Like, did they fill up the whole garage?
No, this was out like on the lawn, but still, it was a ton of people. It was a ton of people to try to fit in there. That was the only time I ever had to be up on something high. That was unstable. Every other time, it's like there's usually been a staircase available, or there's usually, and the group shots are never really that big. But have you had issues with like having to Photoshop people's faces in a group shot? Because there's always someone who blinks, or there's always someone who doesn't look at your camera. So like I try to take a ton of photos, and then I go back and it's like, oh, you didn't look in this photo, but you did look in this photo. So I'm gonna have to swap your face.
Yeah, I've had that. It's pretty difficult because sometimes it's just one. Well, easy is like one eye is closed and the other eye is like actually kind of open. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna swap that or duplicate that eye and try to rotate it, and then okay, it's open now. Like,
oh man.
Yeah. I mean, instead of me shouting 3, 2, 1, I have at the same time I'm having my fingers going 3, 2, 1. So in the corner of their eye, they know it's coming, like the shutter. And but I still get that. Can we do another round? The light wasn't good.
Yeah,
that was basically my excuse all the time. Like,
because sometimes you'll take a couple and like they're already ready to walk away.
Yeah,
and it's like wait, hold on, please, can you guys?
I don't want to be an annoyance, but
yeah, we got to take a couple.
We got to take a couple more just in case, because that guy was throwing up right there.
Or you get someone else who's standing off to the side taking the iPhone pictures.
Oh yeah, they walk in, they don't.
And so some people are looking over there, some people are looking at you.
Yes.
Other people don't even know the photo's being taken yet, so they're looking up at the sky.
That's a funny thing. You know how I said like I put like my 3 fingers up in the air just to count down?
Yeah.
I had a few people look at my fingers instead of the camera. I'm like, what are you doing? It's just an indicator. Like, hey, over here. No, it's not. Look at the camera.
Yeah. I do the best that I can when I found that near the, like, some of the weddings that were the more recent ones that I've done is as long as the bride and the groom and maybe the maid of honor and the best man are looking.
Yeah.
If the rest aren't, I'll do my best, but I'm only focused on those 4 because they're the ones like center frame.
Right.
And they're the ones who kind of are the VIPs. So if you're not looking and you're standing on the way far outside and I don't have a picture to Photoshop, then unfortunately that's the way it is.
Yeah. Photoshopping. Oh man, I need to kind of level up in that kind of area.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm still Lightroom myself.
Yeah, like majority of the stuff is Lightroom. There's the basic, not gonna say like the tools that you need most of the time there.
Yeah.
But when you need to remove,
spot removal and healing and stuff like that. Yeah, those are always
like when you need to remove like a car or something in the background, or just really annoying things that grab people's attention.
Or sometimes there's an object, like if you're going out, like the recent engagement shoot that I did, the bride to be put her coat on the ground, and I should have caught it, but I pretty much just left it in the frame. I figured, I'll just edit it out later. And Lightroom doesn't want to do that. So Photoshop will.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But it takes a lot more time.
Yeah, right.
And I had quite a few photos that had that coat in the frame.
Like on the grass area?
We were at Oso Flaco. So it was on the bridge.
On the bridge. Okay.
Yeah. So it's easy to duplicate the bridge, but
like the lines on that thing, right? Yeah. It's like, oh, why is that line up? Okay, I see. Yeah. Definitely.
Exactly. And I don't like cropping my photos. So
you got to get it right the first time.
So that's what I like to
framing.
Dude, when I first started photographing, I didn't realize how off angle my camera would always be. And so all my photos, I would need to level them. And once I got better at leveling all my photos and focusing on the rule of thirds, then it was like, how can I get it right in camera first so I don't have to crop anything?
Right.
Sometimes it's like, I wish this image was just a little tighter and I'll crop, but that's like a creative decision.
Right.
Or because I couldn't get closer to them at the time. But other times it's just, no, what it is what it is. That's it for our Instagram stream, though. It's coming to an end. We'll still be. I guess you can only stream for an hour on Instagram.
It's been an hour?
Yeah, we have like 27 seconds left, and then the stream's going to end.
It's been an hour?
Yeah. Go ahead and say goodbye to the people on Instagram.
Sorry, IG people. Not that I'm a person or anything. Not that I'm anybody.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
We had a good amount of viewers stop by IG Live.
Oh, that's cool.
But other than that, I mean, we're still good to go on YouTube.
Yeah.
And still good to go on the podcast. But we'll probably wrap it up. The only reason I say that, not to just end things.
Nah, he's ending things. He doesn't like me as a...
is that I can't upload a podcast that's like, I would say an hour, 20 minutes. I can upload a podcast that's an hour, but I can't upload one that's even longer than that.
I think I've seen that trend. Like everybody on YouTube is just like an hour long. They have to cut it.
Yeah.
Like, oh wait, it's our time. We got to cut it.
So I don't know how podcasters like Joe Rogan are doing it, where it's like he can upload a 3-hour podcast.
Oh snap!
And there's other podcasts that I've listened to that are very, very long, and it's like, how are they doing it? Because I'm going through Squarespace, and Squarespace is like, this is your file size. So if your file size exceeds this, I think it's like 160 megabytes. So
Just
it's
audio though, right?
just audio.
Oh, okay.
No video. And they don't allow video. So this video on YouTube, I'll have to link it to my website. So that might be something that comes in the future, because I definitely want to be able to not have the conversation limited based on
The time.
Yeah, based on the time that Squarespace allows. If I have a podcast that goes 3 hours, I'd rather just upload the entire 3-hour podcast than cut it up into segments. And then, but live streaming it, we can just go forever pretty much.
Oh, so when you live stream it, does it, it doesn't chop it up. It just.
Yeah. What's really cool about this is that, well, I'm just going to cut the podcast here, but we'll still keep talking. So if you guys are watching on YouTube, or you guys should head over to YouTube, because you'll get the after the podcast stuff, the post-show stuff. But for those of you who are listening to the podcast, unfortunately, we got to end it here because Squarespace only allows me to upload a certain amount of time.
This was not sponsored by Squarespace.
Oh yeah, this was not sponsored by Squarespace.
You get that a lot in YouTube. I was like,
But for those of you guys listening on the podcast, thank you, and until next time, see ya.
Hi.
So yeah, that was it for just our podcast on what's it called? What'll be on iTunes, but pretty much what goes on here on YouTube. Like I said, we can just keep going. And what's really great about it is the fact that I can, once it's done live streaming, the video will render, and once it's rendered out, it automatically uploads to YouTube.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to. You don't have that. Oh, like second process, I should say. Like
yeah,
you got to render it and then upload it.
Because that's what was messed up when we did it last time. When we were playing the game, is I had recorded the gameplay as well as our video, and what sucked about that was I had to go back because the audio was recorded separate.
Oh, so you had to...
Because remember you said that your buddy couldn't get a hold or couldn't listen to the audio, which I probably should have asked you in the beginning to shoot it out there to people that we were going live.
I was like,
That's fine though. Next time.
That's fine. That's fine. Because last time it did, and then I was like, oh, there's only one person. I think I sent out. Yeah.
But that was the thing that I had to cut the audio in after the fact, and because our portraits were so small, and we never clapped or snapped our fingers, to create that marker.
Oh yeah. So you had to.
I had to like try to read. I had to like try to read my lips, and I was like, "What am I saying here?" And then I had to try to put it in, and because it was also a cut, I don't know if you remember, I had to stop the video and then start the video again.
Right.
I had to try to find that new spot,
Uh-huh.
and it was just. I think that the audio wasn't synced. Like that was like a half a second delay. So that's kind of like, the old kung fu movies. It was like our lips would move and then the audio.
I was hoping it was kind of like that actually, and then you just add in. Oh, that take a while to add in the subtitles.
Oh man, I thought about that too. Like
Cheeseburger.
YouTube does a pretty good job with
okay.
Automatically putting up subtitles. So this one will have subtitles, but if you wanted subtitles in other languages. I think that you have to
install it or something.
Yeah, there's something different that you have to do for that. But
this is YouTube?
That right there is OBS. So OBS, that has as you see on the sources, the NDI source is the camera. That's going to a capture card. And then the guest thumbnail, that one's turned off. That's usually when I would just have a thumbnail up rather than video. But because you're on video, I didn't make a thumbnail for you. Then the subscribe wallpaper is just a wallpaper that I used to have up if it was just me. And then the Rodecaster Pro, where you can see the audio moving while I'm talking, that's coming from the mixer.
Oh, okay.
So we're capturing mixer audio. And then the NDI source, the audio's turned off because that would be the audio from the microphone in the camera. And then the mic/auxiliary is turned off because that would actually be the microphone from the computer. So, and then I have it where it says start streaming or stop streaming over there. And it's doing pretty good. I mean, it's capturing at 30 FPS. It's using about 56% of my computer's CPU. So it's a lot.
It's like a lot of gear, I should say, before something becomes...
I mean, it's a little bit. You can really get away with it, like just using your cell phone and live streaming. Like we could live stream to Twitch or to YouTube with the phone. If you wanted to live stream to YouTube, you have to have a minimum of 1,000 subscribers. But you can
that thing.
Yeah, you can live stream to Twitch, just anytime, whenever.
How many social media outlets do you have for your podcast? Like,
I think all of them.
Okay. So
iTunes, Stitcher,
that's new.
Google Play Store, Spotify. That one took a while to get on.
What do you mean, like, wow?
It took a while for it to like recognize my podcast and then put it up there.
Oh, okay.
I think Anchor, that's another podcasting app. And then there's some others that as long as you're on iTunes, it'll pick it up as well. So I didn't have to manually go out there and get my podcast up. Okay. But like if you and your buddy were going to start one, Anchor is probably one. You can do it right to your phone and it'll put it out to all those places for you automatically.
Okay.
You don't have to think about it. The only reason that I didn't go that route is because I have a website. And so I can put my podcast on my website. It's mine. I have the rights to it. Whereas Anchor, in their kind of user agreements, terms of service, they will kind of own. Well, they kind of own your episodes. And it's like future proofing. If you ever became big and you wanted to then move your podcast,
you're like, no, you can't.
It's like, I think you could, but like they own all your old stuff.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. It's like a weird thing. So it's really just
to make more money.
Yeah. I think that if you decided like podcasting is just something you want to try and just something you want to do, then Anchor is definitely the way to go. But if you're looking at it like this is what I want to do, kind of like photography, well, you can't half step it. Just get a website.
Right.
You got to pay that monthly fee.
Yeah.
But you own it. It's yours.
Hidden costs. The hidden costs.
Yeah, it's the cost of doing business, man.
Yeah.
But I thought about it, like you can always put stuff out there too. Like you can put out photo tutorials. You can put out you can blog or really just if you're doing things like travel photography, you can podcast about it, where you're going, what you're doing, how your experience was. And you don't have to be in front of the camera at all in that sense.
I feel like
it's like an audio journal.
Audio journal. Yeah. I feel like that's probably the direction I'm gonna head out to. Because usually it's like just a travel film. Oh, here are the sites with these crazy transitions and the story thing. But that's so saturated, I guess.
And well, that's what's cool too, is if you did a video like that and you, instead of doing it to music, you can just document you can do voiceover.
Yeah.
And if that voiceover the voiceover can be your podcast. And then the video / voiceover is your YouTube version. If you had a website, you link to the video and you have a link to the podcast. So it's kind of like killing two birds with one stone in doing it that way. But you also don't need all this stuff to do it. There's a guy, he started out podcasting just with the iPhone little earbud microphone thing.
Oh, okay.
Plugged into his phone, and you use the Anchor app, and you're able to upload a podcast just from your headphones.
I guess like content is king kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, content.
I mean, you could sound like $1 million studio, but if no one's listening, then it doesn't matter.
I'm only doing it for the therapeutic reasons.
And there was another guy that I followed when I was living down in Oxnard, and I was really wanting to learn more about photography. And I don't think he does it anymore, but it was the Wedding Photographers podcast. And he did it just talking about the business, how to price yourself, how to approach a wedding day, how to prepare for it, what kind of lenses he was using, how he would go about editing, and just all the things that are involved that people who want to get into it might have questions about. And I mean, that was his thing. And it was just him, USB microphone, and a laptop. So nothing wild and crazy. But yeah.
Sweet.
So I think we'll end the live stream then.
Unless we have anything else to. I mean, we can say that for another episode. I enjoy this actually. Like,
yeah, we'll do it again. I mean, you should.
Definitely.
This is already your second time here. I think that that it's just open door policy. You should just come back whenever. Just let me.
I'm coming in tomorrow.
Yeah, you let me know when you want to come on the podcast.
yeah, definitely. I'll follow through as usual. I'll be punctual. I was actually punctual. Yeah.
Right on, man. Well, that's the end of the stream, you guys. So if you guys are still watching on YouTube, thank you.
Thank you.
And till next time, again, see ya.
Hi.